What's good, y'all? My name is Rorvis Paradox, aka Docs Brando, and I'd like to walk you all to another installment of Warvis Reviews. I got an interesting episode for y'all. Finally doing multiple, current movies. So yay, yay, woo, 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 woo. So definitely gonna go through both of these films. Make sure you're helping out with the 500 goals of the goal of 500 subscribers. So share videos, like, comment, let everybody know what's going on, and make sure you follow me at DaxBrando25 to stay up to date because that's when I'm doing a little teaser about what the films are. Also talking about the film. Also like kind of remind y'all the videos drop, things of that nature. With all that being said, let's get into it. Now, the first film I want to talk about is 2024's Monkey Man, directed by Dave Patel. Now, this film was under Jordan Peele's Monkey Paw Productions, and this film serves as an excellent directorial debut for Patel. Now, some people have been calling it Indian John Wick, and saying this is a disservice to this film. This film was way more than that, and this film even jokes about it in movie, like in universe, while mentioning John Wick, because of bringing up the particular gun that John Wick uses in his franchise. Now, this film is about a kid played by Dave Patel himself, and it's a revenge tale, but it's not the same type of revenge tale that okay, it has some elements of the usual revenge tale, but there's so much more to it from a philosophical point, from a religious point, even just the whole telling of this story is very unique and done very well by Patel. As kid is was a young man, well, not a young man, as a child, him and his mother had a area that they used to live in, and they had their own religious beliefs, and his mom used to teach him things and about a particular deity that resembled a monkey in Hinduism, and he related to that so much, and then she even called him that as well, by the same name. And what happens is his mother is killed, as well as their whole village is burned down for by the hands of a political figure to take their land. So he's trying to get back at those who were responsible. So the person that whose hands are bloody from murdering his mother, as well as the person that basically pushed the domino to cause all that chaos and horrendous acts in his life. And he's grown up as an adult, and he goes by different monikers to keep pushing to get the job done, of this mission. So he plays a wrestler, and he's a jobber and a heel. So he tries to fight back and gets his ass will get paid, chump change by the promoter, as well as he is able to sneak into the role of the job that kind of like funds all the evil shit that goes on, not just in all of India, but the people that are personally responsible for issues in his life. And that's all I really want to say about the film. I think I always say this about the films that I talk about, that y'all should check it out for yourselves, but this one in particular is an enjoyable ride. I think there's a lot to take from it, and you're going to enjoy a lot of things that you see on the screen. I want to get more into the highlights because I could talk way more in depth about that. First things first, I have to highlight Dave Patel. Not only was this his directorial debut, not only is he leading man, he wrote this film. Like, this film has been in the work for almost a decade. Well, the idea of this film has been almost in the works for a decade now. And when he was trying to get someone to direct it, he's pitching the movie, and he's speaking so passionate about it, and being very detail oriented. And the person he's pitching it to is like, dude, why are you trying to get me to do this movie? Like, it sounds like you should do this movie. You know it better than me. So finally getting some handles and able to reach out to Jordan Peele, he's able to get this movie set up. And this definitely feels like a passion project. There's so much of his culture and beliefs that it made it such an interesting watch. I felt that I was watching. I think people as a society, I feel like we always talk about how we want new stories, we want new films, and this is a perfect example of a new story, a new film. There's so much to take from this film, and it was masterfully done. Um, and then to give out to his performance as kid, to really, he was doing multiple things, in front of the camera, behind the camera, and even took some bumps while making film. I think he said in an interview that he actually broke his hand in one of the first fight scenes. So he put his all into this film and literally blood, sweat, and tears, and you can feel it um, on camera during every scene. The next thing I wanted to bring up is the thing that got him injured, the fight choreography. The fight choreography in this film was spectacular. I think the reason why I was saying it's it's a hindrance to call it Indian John Wick, because John Wick may have some great fight choreography, but it's mainly the gunplay in those films, Like with this one, it was phenomenal hand to hand combat, more melee weapons, so knives, like anything they can get their hands on. There's even a fight with somebody with an axe. Like everything about this was brilliant to watch. And what was great about the fight choreography, not just like seeing all the hand to hand combat, but was the camera angles they used. Like it was just like fluid. We were really it was like we didn't miss a beat. Like there were rarely any cuts. It was just like fluid. We're going at it, one takes, and everything was just visually pleasing to the eye. Like definitely great to see this type of fight choreography and film and camera angles. Just like everything just worked. It's better than a lot of action sequences that we've been more accustomed to, where it's just like 100 cuts for one fight scene. Like we don't need that many cuts. Sometimes it's just best to keep things fluid, and it definitely can be shown in this film. Um, Another thing I wanted to bring up is the writing. Like I said, this the way that this film just flows, like the storytelling aspect, it's just done so well. And there's a lot there's a lot to there's a lot of truth within this film. um there's a lot of issues that are going on in India, and like kind of seeing like the corruption in politics in this film. And there's scenes where it's kind of like showing footage of like havoc going on in India, and it looks, if I'm not mistaken, it looks like they use like real footage of like things going on, like, and you can tell there's a lot of realism within the film, uh, in that notion. So the writing, just everything just kind of flows so well, like going through kids' trauma, his rise, his self-reflection, before he can overcome, kind of really accept his identity, and become the badass that he would soon become. Go back to real quick to the fight choreography, because I almost forgot. This film has probably one of my favorite kills of the year. When you see it, you will know it. It's towards the end, and I was just like in awe. Like I just kind of like, I stood up like DJ Khaled. I was like, oh my god, this is it. This is it. And some people might see it and go, that doesn't look too impressive, but like to me, I don't know. It just makes sense to me. I'm not going to say it, but you'll see it when you watch the film. The next thing I wanted to bring up is the use of I was talking about like him bringing up his culture, his faith. So bringing up Hinduism was very interesting. Someone that I'm not too familiar with the religion. Have people that are interested, and definitely learn some things about it, but actually the use of it in the story was magnificent. It was really interesting. It makes me kind of want to go deep into that and trying to understand more about the different deities that within that faith. And he played so much. He used a lot of those like two different deities within this film in particular, that really played a huge role like in the story. And it was just, there's something very intriguing about it, and you don't really get too many good films that know how to use faith in this type of way. So again, this I have to nod my head, tip my hat to that. Next, I want to get into talking about the cast. The cast, is very tight knit, but each of them played their roles very well. Um, I'm not too familiar with all these actors. From my research, these are people that are barely really on that side in India Bollywood films, and then some of them have crossed over as well. So these are people that he grew up on watching and admired their work, and I think that's very excellent to bring these type of people into this film. Um, Number one was Pito Bosch as Alfonso, and this person was the comedy relief in the film. And do I think all of his jokes hit? No, but when they do, they do, and I get a chuckle, I get a laugh, and even there's parts where he's getting picked on because of a disability he has in the film, and he really shown he was able really to portray the feeling of like distress from like disgruntled, very embarrassed, and just like he can't really fight back because it's people of higher power than him. So if he responds, they can just whoop his ass right there in the club. So he can't really do nothing about that. But and he's part of an interesting action sequence. So it's definitely fun to see this actor play his role. The next person I want to talk about is Skigar Care as Rana Singh. Now he wasn't the big bag, but he was the right hand to the big bag, and he played that role excellent. He just like looks like a fucking scumbag. He was just terrible, menacing, a dickhead. Like everything you can say to any adjective you could put on for somebody being evil and just being a terrible human being. This guy rolled into one, and he did an excellent job. Um, Great fight scenes within the film. Definitely felt imposing throughout the film as well. Again, just an excellent job. The next person I want to give credit to is Makaya Rad Desfad as Baba Shati. He is the big bag. He's the one in control. He's the puppeteer. He's the one making all the calls, and he's the one that like he has two quotes back to back in the same scene that really stuck with me. And the quote was, even a small ember can burn an empire down, as well as you need to destroy this nobody before he becomes a somebody, insinuating that kid could, this one person could deter everything that they have planned. So if they don't get a handle on him, it could be a huge this little small issue could become a huge problem. And those two quotes and how the actor stated them stuck with me, and like I think about them pretty often since I've seen the film recently. And he's not like imposing like Rana was in the film, because like he's not really a big guy. He's a older man, and he kind of just like he's a gaslighter. He's slick with words. But he just has aura around him, and he's able to just like trick the masses to fall for his tricks. And if you actually have been on the other side of his tactics or like his attacks, you will know that he's a terrible fucking human being. But if you don't, you think that he's just like some kind of religious figure. He's like, close to God, things of that nature. And it's just disgusting to see how that plays out. So a great job by this actor for doing his role as Baba. I want to give props to Sharto Copley as Tiger. He's the person that's the promoter for the basically like the wrestling federation that Kid goes to as Monkey Man, and he's just having fun here. And you could tell he's just having a good old time. He's a dickhead as well, but he's not like evil. He's kind of just like he's just like a heel promoter, like the boss, the Eric Bischoffs, the in character Vince McMahon in quotations. but not to that same extent. But you know how him and Austin had beef. That's the same type of ordeal. So there's even one scene where he says, you know, how the character he called Monkey Man, or as he called him Kong, and felt very uncomfortable hearing him talk like that. But he played the role well, so I want to give him his flowers. As well as the last actor I want to mention is Ashwini Kasikar as Queenie Kapoor. Um, she's like her Queenie's character is kind of like under Rana, so like she's not like a big bad, but like she's definitely somebody that got motion and is able to like harm folks, threaten folks, um, everything in that nature. So she played that role well. She really was truly evil, but like again, she's not the highest tier, but she's like the first, you know, the first boss that you have to deal with within the film. Um, Again, visually stimulating, everything, editing, cuts. There was a transition that's going to stick with me for the whole year in the film as well. All in all, this film is getting 4 stars from me. I enjoyed this film very much. I think I'm gonna come back to this film again towards the end of the year just to kind of revitalize why I like the film so much. So 4 stars, definitely check this film out. Now, the next film I want to talk about is 2024's Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. This film is interesting. I was like what, a young teen, or like, yeah, about a young teen when the first revamp the Planet of the Apes movies, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, came out, and that film really stuck for me, and I was really like, you know, enamored with this franchise from that point. And then you get to this film, and it's not that this film is bad. It just kind of feels, I guess, when you have to follow up the Caesar trilogy, it's kind of hard to, you know, step up in that sense. But it's not bad in any sense. You know, I think Wes Ball did his best as he could, and he's creating new characters um, for us to, you know, learn about and go through their journey. But you know, it could have been done better. This film is about Noah, Nate from the Eagle tribe, and this is generation after generation after generation after the death of Caesar. And it was, I think that this film, I don't want to get, no, I'm going too far. I'm moving to ahead of myself. As Noah, as part of the Eagle tribe, and he's trying to get ready to do part of this ritual of that's like, you know, about coming of age. That's very particular for their tribe. They have to bring an eagle egg home, nurture it until it's, you know, hatches, all things of that nature, for they can have, you know, an eagle of their own to like help them, like kind of like a Pokemon, honestly. So it's very interesting in that sense that, you know, apes have grown this far after many generations. Now, while this is going on, there's an evil ape by the name of Proximus Caesar, who is not only tarnishing the name of Caesar, but he's manipulating the teachings of Caesar while trying to build an army of apes to create, well, a kingdom. So as this is going on, there's human interaction um, with Noah, as well as an ape that was kind of a disciple of Caesar's teaching, that kind of teaches him about Caesar's ways, his passions, and how he felt about humans and things of that nature. That's basically all I want to say about this film. I want y'all to have your own opinion about it, so please check out the film. This is one of those films where I'm not going to spoil film unless like I need to talk about it to get more details out, and but that's for people that have also seen the film, and I'll always give you a warning about that. But right here, I think y'all should check this film out for yourselves if you haven't already. For you can have a discussion, and hopefully this makes you dive deeper into the Planet of Apes films franchise as well. Now I want to get into the highlights of this film, and probably like my favorite thing about this film is the world building aspect. I think that it's very interesting to see where the apes are now in society, in their own kind of society, their own culture. There's a lot of tribalism going on, and it makes me wonder about like what are the other clans of apes doing? Like what are their niches? What's their culture like? Because we have this group who's more about the eagle, and then they eat fish, things of that nature, and it's a partnership with them. So are there like some that are great by the sea and learn how to swim, or is there other ones that like what other animals could they have like make these bonds with? I'm really interested in that. And even seeing like how Earth looks now with the human population dwindling, and buildings are decrepit. We have like the wildlife is everywhere, free roam. We got we have like plants grown everywhere. It's just like it's a whole different world compared to what it was 300 years ago in franchise universe. So I think that aspect is something that this film does really well. I think it makes me curious. It makes me want to watch the next film if they have a follow up to this film, because I really want to see what else is going on. Um, the next thing I want to talk about is the cast. I have to give my props to the actors and actresses that played the apes. If you never knew this, I found out a few weeks ago that they actually have to go to ape school. Now you're wondering, what in the fuck is ape school? And this is where they learn how to move like real apes, like even getting into the stilts where they can like walk on fours, things of that nature. And then from there, once they kind of learn the motion and don't have to think about how to move like an ape, they add in what their ape character is like, how they would speak, things of that nature, and they blend the two together for they can be able to perform on camera. And that's I have to applaud them for that, because that's a lot of effort to put into character work. Like when the first gen Planet of the Apes movies that way back came out, they weren't doing stuff like this. They just had like a monkey mask of some kind, or like monkey makeup, and it's like more humanoid than anything that they had to deal with. But this right here, Monkey School, I don't know how long it's been out. It's probably been out a long time. And well, not long. I don't know what the time frame is, but I do know that one of the people that teaches Monkey Schools was the ape, the digital ape from Jordan Peele's Nope, during those scenes. So it's the same rule applies. So like I guess all throughout Hollywood, there's a whole ape school academy that helps actors be able to become apes. So again, tip my hat to the cast that play apes. But now time to get to particular actors by name. Owen Teague as Noah did excellent. I think for a character that I was getting a lot of religious vibes off his character. He's supposed to be kind of like a prodigal son. Um, he's kind of supposed to he's kind of bringing the apes out of Egypt in a sense. So, and then he saves them from a flood as well. Like, there's a lot of, and then Noah, like, there's a lot of things that kind of just connect. And this actor did an excellent job with this character. I think he's able to really portray Noah well. I think vocal inflection was well. And this kind of also goes into with the world building of how much the apes actually speak now, because at first it felt like it used to hurt the apes to talk during like Caesar's era. But like this is 300 years now they can actually speak. And I think this shows this like kind of just again goes to the world building, but also shows how great Noah was, and the way he thought about humans because of the disease, because of the virus. Most humans can't really talk, so he already automatically assumes that humans are not the sharpest tool in the tool shed. But again, Noah did an excellent job of being our protagonist, and it was very interesting seeing his work on film, on camera. The next person is Kevin Durand as Proxima Caesar. Proxima Caesar he's not on camera a lot in this film. This film is really more about Noah, but the way his soldiers talk about him, or the way others fear him, and that builds up to when he first arrives. And he really do. He got all this armor on. He really trying to like. He's trying to make himself regal in a sense, very royal. And not yeah, Kevin Durant does an excellent job of like really portraying this, and his curiosity for human culture, for their weapons, for their to dominate the whole planet. Like Kevin did an excellent job in that. And then what I thought was interesting about Proximus, like I said, he's manipulating um Caesar's teaching. So like the sayings that he used to say, apes stronger together, as he's colonizing apes. Like he's literally like taking them from the tribe, putting them in his kingdom, and putting them to work. And if they die doing what he wants them to do, they die. He doesn't really care if they fuck up, get injured. He's like, maybe y'all get right, in a very like dickhead way. He's like, maybe I'll get it right tomorrow. And like he's forcing a whole bunch of stuff, and then like again enslaving, making the women apes serve him. It's really fucked up. But again, he's not on camera a lot, but somehow he does his job so well that it doesn't really matter. And I think that was a great job from Kevin to do that. uh Eka Darville as Silva. Now what's really cool about this actor is I'm way too familiar with him, because if you're familiar with that name and you see his face, you know that he's the Red Power Ranger for RPM. And so for go from that to make an appearance in Jessica Jones to this, it's just like he has a very interesting filmography under his belt. But he does an excellent job of playing Silva. He's like the second command for Promaxius Caesar. And Silva's character is kind of like Rana's character in Monkey Man, where he's bigger, more imposing. He's the one that does like the most damage and is really like hunting down Noah. So it's very interesting to see these two, between Rana and Silva, like don't have many commonalities, but they're very similar in that sense. And Eka didn't really have to do too much in this role, but he did excellent. He's his ape Silva has way more screen time than Proximus Caesar. So he's the bad guy that we are more familiar with, and again, does an excellent job. The next person I want to bring up is one of the human actors, Freya Allen as a May. I don't want to get too much into this film, but her part just yet, because it's kind of a spoiler, but she does very well within the film. I think she is able to, for the only human character that we see on camera and having to like interact with these people that's supposed to be digital monkeys, she did an excellent job not being like phased by it and knowing where to look, things of that nature. And everything about her, just a human that wants to get humans back in power for they can, have control, things of that nature. And that dynamic between her and Noah, very interesting. So again, highlight right there. The visuals of the film, just like how the world looks, as well as how the apes look, for the most part, everything kind of fit well. But all in all, I'm giving this film 3 stars. It's not the best Planet Apes film, but it's not the worst. I have my gripes with it, but it was still somewhat of an enjoyable watch. So 3 stars is what I'm giving it. Now, the reason I did these 2 films is very simple. We have one film dealing with a monkey deity, a dude in a monkey mask, and the other film is people playing apes. Pretty simple why to do both these films back to back. But both these films have their own areas within this landscape of films going on this year. So kind of different seeing one monkey type film that's its own story, its own, everything is brand new and fresh, and the others like a legacy to a whole franchise. So very interesting to see the two. But as always, Did you have a different opinion than me about these two films? You know, did you like Monkey Man just as much as me? Or, you know, did you hate on Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes? Please let me know in the comments below. Uh, like, comment, subscribe. Help keep the goal going for 500 subscribers. This has been Rorvis Paradox, aka Docs Brando. And I'll see you again for another Rorvis Reviews. Peace.